Hello, 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 fight fans all across the world. It is Dustin and me, Alec. Monique will be joining us later. So we'll have the trio back together again, which gets me very, very excited because it's rare that we can all come on. I'm going to go ahead and we got a mega, mega, mega fight card this week. Huge. Right, Dustin? UFC 269. We got two title fights. We got some huge impact fights on this card. Um, I'm very, very excited, and we have my boy Do Bronx back. We'll be getting into that. We got some big headlines though to talk about as well. So I'm going to go right into my plugs, guys. As always, you can follow me at Alec TD Carr. It's my personal account. I got some off the wall trade ideas for the 76ers. Some crazy just ideas in general, whether it be about sports, movies, whatever. Just please make sure you at me, come at me, talk to me, tell me I'm wrong. I just love controversy. I love the fight about it. And guys, please follow Dustin at No Censor Sports. You can also follow us. Hold on, give me 1 second. We got the wrong brand up. What am I doing here, Dustin? There we go. You can follow us there at Fights Unwrapped on Twitter. In my very unbiased opinion, as I say every week, we have the best fight content out there. We are breaking down fights every week. We are reviewing fights. Dustin and I talked about maybe doing some immediate reviews in like 30-minute reviews of fights. So we got some more content possibly coming at you guys as well. And always, as always, follow Unwrap Sports Network and subscribe to the Unwrap Sports Network YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that bell button so you get notifications. We are proud members of the Unwrap Sports Network. It's what brings us all together. Also, it's just incredible content coming out every day of the week. Brand new content. It's incredible. It's from all across the country, all across the world. We got people in Australia. Monique, our very own Monique, is in Canada. And Dustin, I don't know. What state are you in? I don't know. You're in Texas, right?
The Lone Star State, man. Lone Star.
Yeah, and I'm over here in Philadelphia, so we got all kinds of crazy shit going on. I love it. I can't say I can't say more about it. It's just an incredible network. Please follow it. But we're gonna go ahead and cover our sponsors real quick. Guys, if you're like me and you're getting older, and you just can't work out the way you used to because there's so much pain, like me right now, all I did was travel to Myrtle Beach and back, and my back is killing me. RX Hemp is a great way to solve those aches and pains. So please go ahead, check out rxhemp.com and use rxhemp-USN to get 10% off your entire order. And then we also got visit mybookie.ag today. Use promo code USN100 for 100% sign up bonus. Guys, this is a huge fight. So I'm not betting on this fight, but I know Monique will be betting. Dustin will probably get his bets in. I know there's going to be plenty of people betting on this fight. This is a huge card, so please visit mybookie.ag today and use promo code USN100 for a 100% sign-up bonus. Just crazy fight. You'll be missing out if you don't bet through mybookie.ag. All right, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to go right immediately into our headlines. I'm going to go into one that kind of break news. I think it was yesterday, quietly. Not a lot of headlines to talk about because of the huge card, but we're going to talk about our good friend, Jon Jones. Jon Jones loves being in the headlines. I don't know if he loves being in the headlines, but he can't stop himself from being in the headlines. He is making He is saying that he's making his comeback in July. It depends what happens. Sorry, my phone's ringing. That's never good. There we go. Dustin, can you still hear me?
You're all good, bro.
All right, cool. A little technical problems. But Jon Jones says that it depends on what happens in the fight coming up. Gone versus Ngannou, but he predicts that he will be back for International Fight Week in July. Dustin, what do you think? He also said possibly April, Madison Square Garden. What do you think about this? Do you think we'll see a return of Jon Jones, or is just never going to happen? Is he done?
I'll believe it when I see it. I know he's working with Cejudo in his camp. Actually, I believe he's been showing up there several times a week. So that probably means he's probably going to be training with Cejudo's camp for the tenure the rest of this year. Now, I mean, to be honest, I know he's probably going to have to get in shape, but I don't know why it needs to be July. Probably still has the contract. I think Jon Jones should take a couple of months and come back. I don't see what the wait is. I don't really get it. Maybe it's for his personal stuff or things he's got to go through, probably in the legal system. But if stuff has happened in the past, I don't know. But I think he should come back earlier. If he's coming back as a heavyweight, maybe he needs to get back in shape for that. But I have no clue. I believe it when I see it because I've been waiting for Jon Jones to come back for I don't know how long. So, and I know he's got some. I think he's got some issues, man, with his former team, stuff like that. I think he might still be butthurt. I don't know. Jon Jones, he seems like an emotional person sometimes. So we'll see. We'll see how fast he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy stuff. Jon Jones is coming off of his latest controversy with domestic violence. We're not going to talk about though today because just too big of something to cover. But he's coming off his recent controversy. He hasn't really addressed it. He's going after his former camp, saying that they're unjust for, dropping him or telling him to leave, which is just not true. He's doing all these things, and then he starts training with the King of Cringe with Henry Cejudo. He's putting on weight. I mean, he does look good at his heavyweight. It says he's weighing in around 265 right now. He's a big boy, that's for sure. He's looking more and more like his brother Chandler every single day, putting on that weight. And Monique's here. What's up, Monique?
Hey, guys.
I was just saying how I added this headline late, but I was just saying how Jon Jones wants to return. And Dustin said he'll believe it when he sees it. I will too. I'm pretty much in agreement with that. I don't know if we're ever going to see Jon Jones return. I don't know if he's retired. Don't know what's going on with him. I would love to see it. I think it would be great for the heavyweight division, which is getting more and more competitive as every day goes by. There's seemingly more and more heavyweights, and I want to see Jon Jones fight those guys. I want to see him fight Francis Ngannou, Stipe, and Ciryl Gane. I can't wait. I hope it happens. I just don't believe it. What about you, Monique? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat, guys. Like, seriously, I've only heard rumors about him coming back, and he's been training a lot. He's been training with Henry Cejudo. I see that because, he had a falling out with his gym. He said some really nasty things about the owner of that gym. I believe his last name is Jackson as well. So, there was a falling out with that. So I'm not sure what's going on, but he seems to be training a lot. So, I mean, it seems like a good sign. Hopefully he does come back, and hopefully we do see him back soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's just, I can't believe what he's doing to his gym. that's a whole nother 30-minute conversation. His gym had every right to kick him out. They said, dude, go get help or get out. And he said, all right, I'll leave. So it's not like – and they said you can come back once you get help too. And he denied it every time, said he doesn't need help. Clearly, Jon Jones needs some kind of help. But we'll cover that on a different stream because we do have this fucking amazing card to talk about. The other thing that came up this week, everybody's seen the pictures. We've all seen it. Is Conor's weight gain. He looks like he's claims to be weighing around 190. I would say he looks to be about 200 pounds. He looks fucking huge. I'm going to go to Monique first. Monique, what do you think about this? Is he going to cut down? I mean, he even talked about maybe cutting down to fight Holloway again, which just seems impossible at the weight he's at right now. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna fight at 170?
I think he wants to fight at 170. I don't think he's gonna go down any more than that, just because like it's really hard. Like the only person that could do it and that struggled doing that was Khabib, who went from 200 to 155. So I couldn't really see that happening right now. I would love to see a Holloway versus Conor fight, but I just don't think it's gonna happen just because of like how much he weighs now and like how much he would have to cut down. See, like I told you, it's really a struggle. Like the only person that could do it was Khabib, but that was also a struggle for him, as we all know his weight gain or weight cut situations as well. So, I mean, it'd be interesting for him to cut down to 170. That'd be really fun to watch just because I like that division right now. But other than that, yeah, I don't see him cutting down anymore just because it's going to be tough for him. So, what do you think, Dustin?
The only reason he's probably not 200 pounds is because of his height. That's probably it. The fact he's like 5'8" probably is his problem. If he was about 6 foot to 6'1", he would be 200 pounds with that body mass easily. So here's the thing about 170. The reason I don't think he fits at 170, again, because he doesn't do well with guys that are durable. And these 170 guys, man, these guys cut down too. I mean, they're huge. Like, look at Kamaru Usman. Do you really think that he's 170? No. He probably cuts down from like 210. That dude is probably massive walking around. And all of them are. Most of them are. There's a very few of those guys who look like they probably naturally are there. I think he looks the most healthy at 170. I will say that. His body is more filled out. But when at 155, he still looks okay. 145, he looks like he didn't eat for 3 months. But that's why he's able to bang around the 145 guys. He's so stronger than them after he hydrates, after he has a meal. So we'll see. If he cuts to 170, I don't think he has a chance. Like, he might get a few good fights, but he's not going to fight the top guy. I don't think he's getting to Kamaru. I don't think he's getting to the top 3. I think he'd get beat. Especially because they like to wrestle, and that's just not Conor's thing. I mean, I'm not saying that he can't defend takedowns, but those guys, they know what they're going to do to Conor. They're not going to sit there and trade with him to box with him, dude. They're going to grind him. They're going to make him tired. They're going to get him outside of the second round, and then they're going to see what's up after that. That's all you really have to do sometimes. I love Conor, but once you get him off that second round, that power comes down, and that cardio comes down. And it's been proven a million times. Nate Diaz did it. Khabib did it. Quite a few guys have done it. Dustin just knocked his ass out. So therefore, he didn't have to wait. But the future just not bright for Conor, in my opinion, in the fight world. Unless he goes back down to 145. But he's sick. But he's hurt now, so he can't do a lot of cardio. He's recovering from a leg injury. So it's easier to pack on muscle that way because you're not doing a lot of your heart rate isn't going up as fast. You're not exactly doing a bunch of biking. I think once he heals up and he can bounce around a little bit, I think he'll drop that weight quicker than people think. Because I don't think he's naturally that big. So we'll see.
I am so Conor's is expected back to be ready to fight in early 2022, probably be expected to fight around mid 2022. That's his timeline right now. I think he's gonna try to Khabib it. Honestly, I do. I don't think he's gonna fight at 170. I think he's going up to 190 to increase his power at 155. Whether he can do it or not is something we'll see. But I think that's what he's trying to do. I think he realizes that he has no chance because he struggles to knock out these guys at 155 because he's not naturally that big. He does look skinny when he's weighing in at the featherweight division, but that is when he's been the most powerful. That is when he's been the most dominant. That is when Conor was Conor, knocking people out early in the fights. And I think he realizes the only way he can do that is to do a severe weight gain while he's injured and then cut back down to 155. I don't think, because of some of the reasons Dustin said and that we've talked about before, I don't think he wants anything to do with the top contenders in the 170 division because they are all wrestlers. All of them. All of them can wrestle. And he is a struggle. Those guys, most of those guys walk around at 200 to 210. And they cut down to 170. Those are all big motherfuckers, especially Kamaru. Kamaru Usman is a big dude. He's not tall, but he is big. I don't care what anybody says. He is a big, husky dude. And Conor knows he can't compete with that. He's never even tried to be with a guy like that in the octagon. I think he's trying to get power. I think that's all it is. He's trying to get his power back because that's his edge. Is getting that power and hitting you with those counters that we all know and love Conor for and fell in love with him in the 145 division. I think that's what he's going for. Again, we'll see if it works. I don't know if it does because Dustin and I and Monique, you weren't there for the conversation last week, but we talked about having the heart of a fighter, and Conor just doesn't have it anymore. It's hard to have it when you're worth $500 million. And that stock is his own personal stock goes up every single day, never down. So, and he doesn't even have to fight. So that's the craziest thing. So I don't think it works. I don't think it works out. I don't know if we ever see a true return. He might fight like Nate Diaz. He might fight a Diaz brother again, but I don't think we're ever going to see him return to full strength. If he really wants to return, Dustin and I talked about this last week too. If he really wanted to return and dominate division, he needs to go back down to featherweight. It's his only chance. I mean, it's his only chance to really return and dominate. He could win a championship. He could hold the belt at the featherweight division right now, I think. But yeah, I think it's a bunch of malarkey and bullshit. I think it's all talk. We'll see what happens with Conor. We'll be paying attention to it. But that's enough. We don't like to talk about Conor unless he's fighting. But he did make headlines again, so we did have to talk. We did have to talk about him, unfortunately. Next headline, guys. I'm going to let you guys take off with this one. But Dominic Cruz versus DC, just to give a quick synopsis of what's happening. DC's always been kind of looked at as kind of a joke of an announcer. But it's always been amongst fans, never really amongst the fighters either. They haven't really said anything about it. Dominic Cruz, his fellow host, came out and says DC doesn't prepare, doesn't work hard, and he's pretty much just terrible at his job. That's the overview. Dustin, I'm going to swing it to you first, and then we'll go to Monique. Go ahead, Dustin. Well, what do you think about this? How do you feel about DC as a commentator? And who do you agree with? Whose side are you on? Are you Team Cruz or Team DC?
Well, if you ask me what I think about DC as a commentator, I don't agree with Cruz. Cruz is being a condescending dick. I mean the whole film watching thing. If you don't think DC has seen endless amounts of fights, you're just kind of weird. Because if you don't think that, no, don't get me wrong, dude. When you're commentating the undercard and you're commentating the early prelims, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not going to know very much about those guys. I don't care. Because you have to find tape, and it's pretty hard. If it's not mainstream, it's pretty hard. All you can really look at is their background in combat sports. That's it. That's it, really. If you want to find a tape, you could probably get it, but it's hard to get it when they're fighting in regional promotions and shit like that. It's not exactly the easiest. Now, when it comes to his knowledge of the sport, DC has knowledge of the sport. Like, he's explained ground techniques, he's explained the cage, he's explained striking. I've seen him give good insight. Now, do I like him as a commentator? Not really. I don't. But he's kind of goofy. I'll give him that. Another thing that Cruz needs to realize, he's boring as fuck to listen to. He's literally like a fucking computer on the panel. So he needs to stop talking shit. I don't know what his thing is with tape. I respect him as a fighter. Don't get me wrong. That dude is a beast. He's got a really good track record. I know he got beat up a few times by really good guys, but at the same time, he also said dumb shit when he was commentating. He said a lot of dumb shit that was obvious. It was obvious. Like, it wasn't like he had studied for that shit. He also called DC a Olympic gold medalist, which is not true. He never had the Olympic gold medal. So again, if you want to talk about studying, obviously you haven't done much. But again, I think he's coming off like a condescending dick, like he always does. And that's why Garbrandt ended up whooping his ass. Like, honestly, Cruz as a person sometimes would get on my nerves. Like, I could imagine being around him and being like, "You're kind of a dick, dude." But we'll see. I agree with him not being a great commentator, but I don't agree with Dominic Cruz's reason. So I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I have all the respect for Dominic Cruz just because he is one of my favorite bantamweights of all time. But yeah, just like Dustin said, like, he does come off condescending a lot of the times. A lot of people think he's arrogant, and I can see why he makes a lot of these comments. I actually think, just like Dustin said, that DC has really good insight as well. I'm not a huge fan of what's called Dominic Cruz as a commentator. I think, just like Dustin said, he's very robotic. He's very kind of like, there's no substance to him when he talks. It's just like, basically everything is monotone. Everything is, clean cut, just talking about technique. And you got to add some, what's called, like, some personality to himself, but he doesn't really have it, like, when he commentates. DC as a commentator, he's not my favorite. Like, I think a lot of people can agree DC's not my favorite, not our favorites, but he can get annoying sometimes. But I don't think it has to do with preparing and what's called watching tape, because he does have a lot of insight. He does have a lot of the technique that he talks about and the skill set he talks about is true. So what do you think, Alec, about this whole situation?
Well, I'm baffled by you guys, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and throw this up there. But first I want to address the things that you guys said. I agree with you, Dominic Cruz sucks as an announcer. He's very Al Michaels, old school, like, monotone, except worse than Al Michaels. Like, he's even more monotone than Al Michaels, and he is a robot. He just is like, if this happens, this is why, and I told you why, and I tell you this, and this is why he passed here, and it's, yes, he's boring. But he's not wrong. Dominic Cruz is not wrong in this situation. DC is the Jason Witten of the UFC announcing. He is fucking horrendous. He does not do his homework. Fuck watching film. He doesn't even know the guys' names who are fighting half the time. And not just in the prelims, Dustin, in major cards. He forgets who's fighting. And he'll say, "Oh, yeah, I forgot his name. That guy fought a little bit ago, and I was at that card." But then he makes the same mistake again, and you want to know why? Because he doesn't prepare for the fights. It's just that simple. If you prepared and you did your homework like every announcer or commentator does in every goddamn sport, you would know the guys' names. He kept calling Ankalaev somebody else who was in the card the week before that fight. This guy does not prepare. He does not look at fighters' names. He does not look at cards. He just shows up. He just shows up like us doing a show, like a bunch of like You're a professional commentator. You're commentating on a sport. You have to know the fighters' names. You have to know the players' names. I mean, the level of homework that these guys do for other sports, level of homework that Dominic Cruz does, the level of homework that Joe Rogan did when he was in his prime of being an announcer, level of homework that all of them do. Paul Felder, all of them do. DC does not do it. He does not get ready for the fights. He literally just shows up and is lazy and stupid. He just is dumb and it's really annoying because, like both of you said, DC has the knowledge and he shows it in the fights. He really does. He shows that he can explain the wrestling, what happened. He can explain why that strike happened, why that opening happened. But he doesn't know the basics. He'll call a striker a grappler. He's done it before. I've watched him do it. He'll call a grappler a really good striker. We all know that he's one of the best strikers in the UFC. No, he's not, DC. And these are well-known guys. These are up-and-coming guys that fight fans know, and you're getting it blatantly wrong. Dominic Cruz, good on you. You called him out for the bullshit that he's been pulling since he got in the booth. The guy is lazy. He's a bad announcer, and Dana White should stop not holding him accountable just because DC is the Dana White fan club. He always has been and always will be. Dana White does no wrong, and Dana White doesn't hold him accountable as a commentator because he praises and kisses the feet of Dana. DC is worse than Michael Bisping at announcing. And you guys both know how much I hate Michael Bisping in that booth. DC is the worst announcer in the UFC. He's the worst announcer in the MMA. He is just outright horrible. He's the worst announcer in combat sports. I'd rather listen to old-ass, hardly can understand Teddy Atlas than DC talk about fights because he doesn't know what he's talking about because he doesn't do the homework. It's disgusting. It's a disgrace to the sport, and it's embarrassing to him and all fight fans. And I hate it because the casual fight fan listens to it and thinks that guy's a striker when really he's one of the best grapplers in the UFC. It's just ridiculous, and it needs to stop, and somebody needs to hold him accountable, and Dominic Cruz just did it. And whenever DC gets held accountable, this is what he does. He goes, oh, well, I know what I'm talking about. Dominic, that's not how you should do that. That's not how you should do that. If you're a friend, you wouldn't call me out in front of everybody. I guarantee you Dominic Cruz has called him out to his face over and over again and said, dude, be better. And DC just doesn't listen. So he went to the press and he said, you know what, guys? DC doesn't do homework. He doesn't watch film, which I strongly disagree with you, Dustin. Commentators have to watch film. The UFC has film on all these guys. But it's just the fact that he doesn't do it. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't try to do it. He just doesn't care. He shows up, gets a paycheck, he goes home. Fuck DC. Fuck him. I've always disliked the guy, and now I dislike him even more. Take your legs, get out of the booth. Or when somebody actually holds you accountable for doing something wrong when you're doing something wrong, be better. Just don't say anything. Just be better, DC. All right, I'm done.
Here's the only thing I'll say about Dominic Cruz versus DC. First of all, if this had came from Joe Rogan, I probably would have held more weight. Dominic Cruz is a fucking shitty commentator. He literally said McGregor was trying to wear out Khabib by letting him whoop his ass. That didn't make sense. Even the Joe Rogan corrected him. Joe Rogan was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It was like on national television. He was like, "Are you stupid?" Like in metaphorical ways, he was like, "Are you dumb?" It's a Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz has no pedestal to stand on to call anybody shitty when it comes to that table. Now, if it was Joe Rogan, shit on because Joe Rogan's the best. I don't give a fuck if he was young or if he's not. When Joe Rogan's on that table, he makes the whole show better. The whole thing. So therefore, I will say that I agree with you. DC kind of is lazy a little bit. I've seen him make stupid mistakes, but Dominic Cruz was not the fucking dude to do it. Joe Rogan should have done it. Fuck Dana White do it. But I do agree with you. He's not going to talk shit about DC. But at the same time, Dominic Cruz, he doesn't like to stand on. That dude's retarded too when I watch him. He's like a fucking robot.
It's different with Cruz though, because Cruz is just not smart enough. Like he never strikes you as a guy that understands how to do things the right way. I think Dominic Cruz does thoroughly prepare for fights. I just think he just isn't very smart. DC, on the other hand, is a smart guy. He knows the fight game like the back of his hand. He has the knowledge. You see him have the knowledge. Dominic Cruz, you don't see have the knowledge, which is why he was never, when the division got better and better and better, he got lower and lower and lower. He just didn't have the knowledge. He doesn't have the fight IQ. DC has the fight IQ. We're talking about the guy changed the fight game. If you really want to talk about it, he started doing the feint, the takedown into a strike in one smooth move. That was DC. DC made that move popular. He changed the fight game. He has the fight IQ, but he doesn't apply himself, and it's disgusting. And Joe Rogan should hold him accountable. And the fact of the matter is, Joe Rogan doesn't want to be in the booth with DC. He doesn't want to be in the booth with Michael Bisping. And he does, and a lot of it has to do with Dana and the contract negotiations. But he doesn't want to be in the booth with those guys because they suck. They don't hold a candle to prior announcers. That's my only point.
I will say that Michael Bisping is terrible. Like when I listen to him, and he stutters and shit. I'm just like, bro, are you sure you know what you just said? But don't disrespect my boy Teddy Adams, man. Because he was.
I love Teddy, man. I love Teddy. He's just hard to listen to sometimes.
Teddy is awesome. When I listen to him announce boxing fights, it's actually really good. So he's loud and shit. All
right, we got to move on. Because we have an amazing card. Monique, I'm going to let you take over because you're the best at this, and you're the best host at going over and previewing fight cards. We got UFC 269. Monique, take it away.
All right, so this card is starting off with a bang because we are starting off with Mr. Sugar Sean O'Malley, who is coming back, and he is facing against Raulian Paiva. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully I am. Okay, so I think all of us here are huge Sugar Sean O'Malley fans. We love him. I think he has a challenge in his hands. I don't think it's going to be as easy as the other guys that he's faced personally, just because I've seen Raulian's past fights as well. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think he's going to get it done. I don't know if he's going to get a knockout. I don't know if he's just going to go all 3 rounds, but I think he's going to get it done. What do you think, Alec?
This is definitely his toughest fight, and for those who don't know who Raulian Paiva is, this is a guy that he's 26 years old, and he's already fought and lost. He lost to Kai Kara-France, who we're going to see later, but this is a guy who's already fought some people and some names, and he's long, just like Sugar Sean. But he's got some ground game, not a lot, but he's got some ground game. But it's an elite striker against elite striker. Paiva, I actually picked. I don't know if you remember watching that Kyler Phillips fight. That was absolutely fucking nuts. And I picked Paiva in that fight. Paiva is an absolute monster. I think Sugar Sean could get it done because I think he is the one of the most elite strikers in the entire UFC, not just the division. I think I was about to say I think he has a higher fight IQ, but I don't know if he does because Paiva is no joke. This guy is only 26 years old. He's an absolute beast, and he's not even in his prime yet. It's just like Sugar Sean O'Malley. So this is a great fight for the matchmakers to make. I'm going with Sugar Sean by decision, but I can't say this is the first Sugar Sean fight where I haven't been able to just say he's winning the fight. This is going to be huge for him if he does. This is really going to take him into that next level. And he's coming up. This is the perfect time for this fight for him because he's coming right into his contract negotiation next month. So if he wins this fight, you're gonna see him get paid like a top tier fighter, and he's gonna start fighting for a championship. That's the next level for him after this. Paiva, a little bit different. If he wins this fight, yes, he'll be leapfrogged into a little championship contention, but no one's still going to know who he is because he's not Sugar Sean O'Malley. He doesn't have 4 different colors in his hair and is telling Dana White to go fuck himself. Like, that's just – he's just not the same personality. But I think Sugar Sean does win this. I'm a little worried for him because he's our boy, and we're waiting for that. This is the guy that could be the next Conor McGregor personality type in the UFC. So I really hope he lives up to the hype and he gets the job done in this fight.
Okay, Dustin, do you have any thoughts on this fight?
I agree. I think it's going to be tough. But Sugar Sean's going to win this fight. There's one thing I love about Sugar Sean O'Malley, because when he strikes, he has this capability that you can't teach. And it's picking shots. It's knowing when they're about to do damage. It's literally he just throws them, and it's perfect landing, very accurate. You can't teach it. Anderson Silva had it, and a couple of the strikers have it. But the dude can just land shit in perfect timing. Like he literally just has a reflex to hit you at perfect times. Definitely elite striker. He's definitely a well-rounded guy. I don't know why people don't think Sean O'Malley can fight on the ground, but it's a lie. It's a lie. He can wrestle. You showed it. I've seen it. He's really good at scrambling. He's really long. And he has those long limbs. That helps. That helps when it comes to scrambling, because you can create so much space. And another thing, he can create a bunch of space with his hands. Dude, if you step in that box to Sugar Sean, dude, good luck. Good luck. He will pick you off, dude. It's very hard to get in. So therefore, I'm just waiting for this contract to end, because I'm kind of tired of the bullshit. Like, I'm kind of sick of him fighting on the first freaking fight on the card. He should have been catapulted a long time ago. The only reason he isn't, because he told Dana, I'm not fighting these monsters unless you pay me to fight these monsters. And that's what it is. And I agree with him. I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck if anybody says I agree. If you're not getting paid to fight like that, you shouldn't take the fight. It makes no sense. No other sport does that shit. Only MMA. Pay the guy like shit and make him fight monsters. That doesn't make any sense. So I agree with him. But I'm just waiting for this fight to be over. I think he's going to beat him. I don't know if he's going to get the finish. He's a tough dude. But at the same time, I think he'll win. I think this is another setup fight. And he's going to be able to look at Dana and be like, hey, my bank account's it's barking, man. So go ahead and sign that line that you know you're going to sign. So therefore, I'm just waiting for this to be over, because I'm kind of tired of him fighting guys like this, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. It is Cody Garbrandt's flyweight debut, and he's going to be facing Kai Kara-France. And I know Alec Carr, trust me, I'm shaking my head too, because I am not liking Cody Garbrandt going down to flyweight. I think it's a stupid idea. I think he is delusional when it comes to thinking that he can get the belt when there's all these killers in front of him in the flyweight division that, we don't even have to mention Marino, Davison Figueiredo, Brandon Royval. The list goes on and on and on. So it's called. I just think that Cody, I don't know if he has it anymore, because his last fight against Rob Font was just really, it was devastating to see. It wasn't the same Cody as we saw. He lost it. He got emotional. I think he's going to do that again. I think Kai Kara-France actually wins this fight, in my opinion, just because I don't have any hope for Cody anymore. I think it's a stupid move to go down to flyweight, but it is what it is. He thinks he can win the belt in this division, so I'm picking Kai Kara-France to win this. What do you think, Alec Carr?
The only reason Cody Garbrandt hasn't won a belt yet is because of Cody Garbrandt. He's got all the skill, all the talent in the world. The guy's a monster striker. He's quick. He's fast. He's one of the fastest strikers I've seen. I mean, seriously, his hands are so quick, and they come at you with power, devastating power. But you said it. He's an emotional fighter. He lets his emotions get the best of him, and his fight IQ sucks. He thinks he's winning a fight when in reality he's not. He might have hurt somebody, but that doesn't mean you're winning. Hurting somebody is not the same as knocking them out. Ask TJ Dillashaw, Cody. You hurt him twice. You hurt him in 2 fights. You did. And instead of taking your time and winning the fight, you rushed at him and opened up and let a guy that also has power knock you out. That's what happened. As far as this fight goes, I think you have more respect for Kai Kara France than I do. I think Cody can win this fight. I really do. I think he's a better fighter. He's a better fight. The issue with Cody is he's a better fighter than most of the guys he fights, but he still lets that emotion get the best of him. That's why he'll never hold a belt. Guys like that are so disappointing. Darren Till is turning out to be one of them. There are guys who are just got all the talent in the world but can never use it because they always play in another person's games, or they just don't have the fight IQ. And Cody doesn't. He doesn't. Kai Kara France, the only thing he's really got going for him in this fight, I think, is he is a very smart fighter. Say what you will about Kai Kara France, and I will say some things about him too. That I think he's a little overrated. I don't think he's this great thing that's ever going to contend for a belt. But he is really smart. Even though not all the talent is there, he is extremely smart in the octagon. That's how he's won as many fights as he has, is just by being smarter. That being said, I'm picking Cody. Will he make a run at a title in this division? Fuck no. No, he won't. But I think he can beat Kai. I do. I do think he can beat Kai, and I think he will.
Okay, Dustin, who do you think is going to win, Kai Kara France or Cody Garbrandt?
I agree that Cody is in his own way. And I'll put it to this way. Any MMA fan, probably got a lot of people into MMA. You remember the first movie of Never Back Down? The first one, not the second one? He's fucking Ryan McCarthy. Like, he's a fucking bully. He's a stupid, talented guy. But he has this emotion about him that he has to be a bully. He has to. There's no other way. He can't be methodical. He can't do anything. He would have beat TJ if he would have slowed down. If he would have slowed down, I guarantee he would have finished him. I guarantee he would have caught him. And he already caught him. I mean, he didn't have to fucking catch him. He already did. If he'd have just slowed down, he would have been fine. He's Ryan McCarthy. He's too fucking aggressive. He's too much of a bully. He likes to fight too much. And I know it's a really bad thing to say, you like to fight too much, but it can be bad. It can be bad. You take more damage and you fuck up. And it happens. It happens. It doesn't matter how highly skilled you are. If you have that bully mentality, dude, it's just you're gonna get beat at some point. All bullies get beat. He's just a fucking bully. It's really bad. I wish he wasn't. But he's just a bully. You can watch him in The Ultimate Fighter when he was with TJ. Biggest bully I ever seen. I've never seen someone that much of a bully. Pushing Conor McGregor and shit like that, dude. He's just a bully. But when it comes to 125, I actually kind of disagree. I think he's going to get through Francis. I think he's going to have more trouble with Figgy than he will Moreno. I think if he went directly to fight Moreno, he would do a lot better than he would against Figgy. Because Figgy is another fucking bully. Like, I think he might be able to catch Figgy. When it comes to Moreno, I think he could beat. I think he could go in and beat Moreno. Figgy, I think, would give him just a hell of a time. Because he would try to bully, and Figgy would be like, all right, dude, you want to come in here and throw that shit? All right, we'll see. And he's going to knock his block off. Moreno, I think he might be able to skew him out. I wouldn't say finish, but he might be able to beat him. But he has to get through Figgy. And I think Figgy would be his Achilles heel. He has to beat him to get to him. So, in my opinion, I don't think he wins the title because of that reason. I think he could get through Brand, weirdly. But Figgy is going to be his problem, I think, in my opinion.
Okay, so we're going to move.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Yeah. I have things. I wanted to ask both of you this question. But before I ask it, I just want to comment. That's the thing with Dustin's. I agree with you and disagree with you, Dustin, because on one hand, Cody Garbrandt could beat anybody in a lot of divisions. He's Cody Garbrandt. He's got incredible talent for fighting. I just don't think he can outsmart people like that. I don't think he can get past Brandon Royval, to be honest with you. I think Brandon Royval would just take that shit to the ground and say goodnight. I think that would be one of the hardest tests for him, is a guy like Brandon Royval.
Wrestler, though.
What?
Cody was a very good wrestler. Very, very good.
I know he was, but Brandon Royval is a little bit different. He's a great wrestler. He's a guy and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist. He's an absolute monster on the ground. Cody's good. Royval is incredible. But that being said, if he comes in and he beats Kai Kara-France, is he immediately a contender? I mean, we got Askar Askarov, who's incredible too. We got this division's got young guys coming up. Does he immediately contend? Does he take the 6th place? What happens with Cody if he wins this fight?
I think he should go fight Figgy. If he fights Fig and beats Fig, I think I'd give him a shot, to be honest. That's the reason they moved him to 125. You think that was just him? That was Dana, too. Dana wanted him to move down. I guarantee it. Because he wanted him to make a run for the title, because Cody is fucking entertaining. And 125 is lacking in the personality, wise. Why do you think Mighty Mouse got sent to another? It's because the division just was not entertaining enough. And Cody Garbrandt will add some flair. So I think he wants Cody to succeed. And I think that if he wins on Saturday, probably put him against Figueiredo. If he beats Fig, yeah, he's going to Brandon Moreno.
But what about Askar Askarov, who's coming off wins against Joseph Benavidez, Alexander Pantoja, and Tim Elliott? And before that, a draw with the now champ, Brandon Moreno. I mean, Askar Askarov deserves a title shot as much as Figgy does, if you really think about it.
Yeah, but 2 of those guys are old as fuck. I mean, let's be real. Benavidez is not Benavidez anymore. That dude's old.
Yeah, but he beat Pantoja, Tim Elliott, and tied with Brandon Moreno.
Tim Elliott ain't the young chicken no more.
Still, dude, he's coming off a 3-fight win streak, and before his draw had never lost. He's 29 years old. He's an absolute beast, and probably low-key one of the best submission artists in the entire MMA. The guy's a fucking monster. This is a guy that's won with twisters, anaconda chokes. He's a nut job on the ground. I just think, listen, if he beats Kai, that's great. Awesome. I'm a Cody fan, even though I kind of hate him right now. But and I'll be in his corner if he wins this fight. But he should not fight Figgy next. That's the Askar Askarov has done his work. He deserves it.
No, I didn't say that. He can fight Figgy first. I mean, Askarov can fight him first. I think Figueiredo's going to beat everybody other than Moreno. I think Cody Garbrandt's the one that he might not be able to take out.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the welterweight division. We got Santiago Pontinibio versus Jeff Neal. Now, okay, so my thing with this fight is that I am torn because I think that Jeff Neal is gonna win, but I really want Pontinibio to win this fight. That's and Alikar is nodding his head because he probably agrees with me. And I love Pontinibio. I love that he is returning and he is trying to make a run for it. I believe in his last fight, I think he lost his last fight if I'm not mistaken. And what's called Jeff Neal. I just think that he's the better fighter, so I'm gonna pick Jeff Neal in this fight, but I really want Pontinibio to win, so that's where I'm going with this. It's called Alikar. I think you probably agree with me on this one. What do you think about this fight?
Unfortunately, I do. Pontinibio, he beat Miguel Baez, if you remember. That was his last fight, and then lost to Lee before that.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, which is the more important one because Lee's better than Beza. Sorry, not Baez. Beza. I love the Argentine dagger so much. And prior to his injury problems, it looked like he was going to be a serious contender. I just don't think he came back from his injuries. He's not the same guy knocked down. Even in that last win against Beza, who's not a great opponent, it just does not look like the same guy. I'm worried as hell. I'm going to be rooting for him. I'm going to be rooting for the Pontinibio that we all know and love to return, the guy that's he will fucking knock you out in a second. Like all of a sudden you'll just be on the ground. It look like you might even feel like you're winning. Then all of a sudden he hits you with a combo and you're like, holy shit, I just woke up 10 minutes later. Like Pontinibio is a beast. He's fun to watch when he's in his prime and at his best. Right now, he is not that guy. I'm hoping for a return. If he does return, I think he beats Jeff Neal. The old Pontinibio, if he comes back, if the Argentine dagger comes back, he destroys Jeff Neal. Like cakewalk destroys Jeff Neal. But I don't think he will. I think Jeff Neal will make this a Jeff Neal fight, and it will be incredibly boring to watch, unfortunately. And I think he will win in a unanimous decision, maybe even with a 10-8 round, because he just, dominated by laying on top of him or putting it all up against the cage for 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for the Argentine dagger. I really will. I hope he wins. I hope we see a return of that greatness that he once had.
All right, Dustin, do you have any thoughts on this welterweight bout?
I'm actually pretty excited to see Jeff Neal again. I've been thinking Jeff Neal should probably go up and fight a little bit higher than he has sometimes, but he's getting this fight again. Injured. I don't know. No, I'm picking Jeff Neal. I think he's gonna do exactly what Alex said. Actually, I think he's gonna grind him out. I don't see him stepping to him, trading all the time. I don't think that's who Jeff Neal is. So I don't really have too big of an opinion about it, but I will say Jeff Neal probably. I think he'll grind him out and get a decision. In his regular fashion. To be completely honest, so. If I was putting money, if I was a betting man, I'd be going Jeff Neal right now.
Yeah. He's probably the favorite anyways to win this fight. So, all right. So, I don't even have to say anything for this next fight. We're just going to all agree on the count of 3 who we think is going to win between Amanda Nunez and Juliana Pena. All right? So, if I count 2, 1, 2, 3... Amanda Nunez gonna win this fight. Okay, this is the same thing that we do for Valentina Shevchenko. We're doing the same thing for Amanda Nunez because as much as Juliana Pena is good at wrestling, Amanda Nunez is just better at everything, and she keeps getting better in each fight. So whether it's on the ground, whether it's striking, the girl can do it all. I don't know who's going to beat her next except the Valentina Shevchenko trilogy, which Dana White already says he's not fucking, I don't know, he doesn't want it for some reason. He's not interested in, he's like, nobody wants to see this. I'm like, no, everybody wants to see this except you. That's the true statement. Everybody, all the fight fans have been saying that for the longest time. And I know we should be talking about this fight, but it really gets me bothered when, Dana White says stuff like this. Just because, it just... it makes no sense for these 2 women not to fight again. But,
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely disgusted that the fight hasn't been made. I'm disgusted that we're watching poor Juliana Pena, who's a good fighter in her own right, have to go against Amanda Nunez because there's no one else. Let's not get it twisted. That's why this fight's happening. There's no one else. Who else is going to fight her? Valentina Shevchenko, that's who. That is the fight to make. That's the fight to make, not in women's MMA, in MMA world, period. The fight to make is Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunez. That's it. That's the only fight I want to see. It's just absolutely absurd. It's a huge moneymaker it would be absolutely insane. And it's crazy that Dana White won't do it. I don't know why. I don't know if he's worried that Shevchenko will, diminish Amanda Nunez's legacy or whatever it is. Listen, I don't think Shevchenko beats Amanda Nunez no matter what, but it is the most entertaining fight that he could make for Amanda Nunez. That it disgusts me when this kind of shit happens when Dana White just says, "Oh, it's not happening." Why, dude? Why are you denying the fight fans the fight that they want to see? Amanda Nunez said that she was all for it. Shevchenko said she wants it. Like, just make it happen. Sign the paper, send them the paperwork, and just make the fight happen. I feel so bad for Juliana Pena because she has to go in against this monster, and she's gonna get really hurt. That's what's gonna happen. That she's no business being in the octagon with Amanda Nunez. None. Zero. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any other fight people look back at. She's coming off the victory against Sarah McCann. That's what got her the championship fight. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're fighting Amanda Nunez after beating Sarah McCann? That's stupid. Make the Shevchenko fight. Stop it with this nonsense because you're going to lose out on Amanda Nunez's buying power soon. It's just stupid. So stupid.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say something before we go into Dustin's comments about this fight. I don't know if it's a sexist thing or not, just because I know that we've always talked about women getting the short end of the stick when it comes to headlining UFC pay-per-views all the time, and now Dana White doesn't want to do this epic trilogy fight that not only the fans want to see, but like even casual fans want to see this fight. So it's not just the hardcore fans, the casual fans even know the names of Valentina Shevchenko and Amanda Nunez, which would, obviously, like Alex said, moneymaker number one. And like it's just I think it might be a little bit of a sexist thing. I think that he doesn't want to put like the women as the stars, and like he hasn't done that. He's always done like, oh, okay, we're gonna have Rose Namajunas versus Wei Li Zhang, but we're not gonna put them as the headline because they're not gonna sell as much as Usman versus Kobe, something like that. He's always done something like that. It's always irritated me why he doesn't put women first, just because like, obviously this would be an epic fight that everybody, not just women but all men, want to see this fight as well. So I just had to put that out there. That's my little rant of the week, just because it's just really aggravating to see that happen. So, Dustin, what do you think about this whole Amanda Nunez versus Juliana Pena fight? You can also commentate on the whole Valentina Shevchenko Amanda Nunez fight. That's not going to happen because Dana White doesn't want it to happen.
So I'll take the women not getting headliners. Actually, in pattern, I kind of see what you're saying, but there's also sort of an asterisk. So the way Zhang and Rose came about, that could have been a headline. The problem is the timeline that it conceded in was Colby Covington and Usman. And let's be real, that fight, that's going to sell 10 times more. That was just a big one. That's like Conor fighting on a card. They're not going to headline, probably even Amanda. Amanda's not even going to headline a shit. So therefore, Ronda Rousey was the last one that I saw Dana really, the first one and probably the last one really, except Amanda a little bit, was the one he put on the forefront big time. That was because Ronda Rousey was kind of a pioneer of women when it came to them entering the sport, when it came to them being big. Now, if I'm going to comment on the Juliana Pena thing, first of all, she talked herself into this fight. I don't think that she earned it, but she was talking shit. Amanda Nunez is going to beat her skull in. I don't understand why she chose this. First of all, she's smaller. She's not as big as Amanda. Amanda would absolutely dominate. I don't see any point where Juliana has a shot. Because you're not going to strike with her, dude. She's going to put you out. She put out Cyborg. I mean, come on, dude. You're not going to stand up with her. Not even close. You're not going to be on the ground with her. That's not even close. I don't see. But again, I told you about this shit with Amanda Nunez. They're throwing shit at the wall and hope it sticks. That's all they're really doing. And when it comes to the Shevchenko thing, actually, it's weird, but I'm going to say it from a boxing spin. So I don't know if you guys have much knowledge, but all these fighters in the same division, same weight classes. You got Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. You got, let's say, Devin Haney. You got Shakur Stevenson. You got a lot of guys who should be fighting. The whole thing is he doesn't want to taint either of them. If he puts them together, he's going to take away somebody's mystique. Somebody's. Either Sanchenko's going or Amanda. Now, you can shake your hell you want to do, but when two big fighters fight and one gets destroyed, it takes away marketability. When Pacquiao got his shit rocked by Marquez, did it really ever?
He's taking away more marketability by not booking it, though. He's killing the marketability of the two fighters.
I agree with you. Because in a boxing sense, it's bullshit. I think that the bigger fight is going to make more money. And I think he's doing it in a boxer promoter's mind. I think that's where he hasn't evolved when it comes to putting two guys. But another thing I don't get is he has no problem doing it with men. He has no problem putting BJ Penn against GSP. Then he knew GSP was going to beat him. Like, let's be real. BJ Penn was never going to beat GSP, but he put him in there. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Izzy fighting big-ass Bear Jam. I mean, it's really weird that he does that. I don't know why he's taking away that. I really think it's more because, again, the only thing I could logically come up with is the fact that when they fight, if Amanda Nunez whoops her ass or if the other happens, vice versa, it'll be a problem for one of their marketability. Now, Amanda Nunez, if she gets beat, bro, that's going to be a problem. If Shevchenko beats Amanda Nunez, especially convincingly, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. For my point. It
would be great. What are you talking about? It would be great. It would blow up another rematch. It would be fucking fantastic.
That marketability would get killed if Amanda Nunez got her.
No. Just build it back up. It would actually increase her marketability because it would increase the marketability of the rematch.
Do you think that Conor and Dustin increased marketability when Dustin whooped
his ass? It's different, dude. That's a totally different story. It would be for a belt, and the Poirier and the Poirier Conor trilogy got made after Poirier denied a championship fight because he wanted a payday. It's a totally different scenario. And I want to say on Monique's point, Dana White always finds a way to put the top headlining women on the same card as an Usman or Covington, as a Conor McGregor, as a Jon Jones. He has always done it. He will always do it. And if you remember, when women first got brought up coming into the UFC, he wanted fucking nothing to do with it. He thought it was a dumb idea. He hated it. He fought and fought. The UFC was one of the last promotions to have women professionally fighting in the promotion. It is absolutely a sexist thing, Monique. And I'm not even going to say a sexist thing. It is sexist. It is sexism. He does not understand the marketability of women fighting in the UFC. If I'm sorry, Dustin, I don't mean to railroad you or anything, but if Shevchenko won that fight, oh my God, it would bring in so many new fucking fans. The great one, the Lioness herself, just went down while all the casuals watched. You know how many fucking people would tune in to the next one?
Oh, do you remember when Ronda Rousey got knocked the fuck out? No,
it's not the same thing. Women's MMA is way more popular than it was when she was. It has blown up into more than what it was. It is on every single card. When Ronda Rousey was fighting, it was still not even on every card. Like, it is totally different now. The platform is there. Amanda Nunez, if she lost this fight, people wouldn't care. It's not like people would just stop caring about Amanda Nunez. She's on the goddamn MMA Mount Rushmore for almost everybody that fucking builds one. Not Ronda Rousey. It's Amanda Nunez. Amanda Nunez is like one of the top fighters in MMA history. Fuck women. Ronda Rousey was one of the top women fighters in MMA history. Amanda Nunez is one of the top fighters in MMA history. It's different.
Way more popular. Ronda Rousey in her run was 10 times more popular.
No, I'm not saying that Ronda Rousey wasn't more popular. What I'm saying is that women's MMA is more popular. It's different. Ronda Rousey is absolutely more popular, but women's MMA as a whole is more popular because it's on more often and it's on the bigger cards. Ronda Rousey, if it wasn't a Ronda Rousey fight, it was on a prelim. If it wasn't a Ronda Rousey fight, no one was watching. Now everybody watches the women fight. It is all main cards. It's all main events. It wasn't like that when Ronda Rousey. The popularity of women's MMA is more. Ronda Rousey is the most popular women's fighter of all time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that women's MMA is more popular.
I'm telling you right now, I don't agree that it's more popular. I don't. In my opinion, it's not sexist. I'm not saying it won't be sexist. In my opinion, it's not more popular. If my internet got planted, it would be.
It has more viewership now. It has more viewership now.
I'm telling you, it's not more popular. It's not even.
People don't tune out.
I didn't say they would tune out, but Ronda Rousey, when she was fighting.
No, yeah, her as a fighter is more popular than Amanda Nunes. But the women's fighting is more popular than it was when she was fighting. It's two totally separate things.
I'm saying Zhang and Rose could have been a main event. I agree. That could have been. Absolutely said it. I was a big fan of that fight happening. Huge. I would have paid for that TV affair with the headline. But again, it's either let's say he didn't put him on the same card as Usman. Then we're waiting. Then they wait 6 more months to hop on a main event. So either way, it's either you fight once a year or you hop in on the Usman Covington card.
No, he could have built a card around it. It could have started earlier. He could have changed cards. He does it all the time for men. Anyway, I don't want to get into a long conversation about this. I just think Dana White's full of shit. He doesn't want it to happen because he's scared. He's just scared, and he's got nothing to be afraid of. These are the kind of decisions that make me question his business savvy if it's up to the same level that it used to be. Because I don't think it is. I think he doesn't care as much. I don't think he's as invested. Otherwise, he would capitalize on that fight. And who gives a fuck? He would have a huge fuck. Even if the Amanda Nunes' popularity died down, she's gonna lose eventually. She's going to. It's just a matter of time. So just fucking let her fight Shevchenko, who she'll probably beat anyway, and just get the payday. Get the fucking payday. It would be the highest grossing women's fight ever. More than any fucking Ronda Rousey fight. It would be the highest grossing women's fight in MMA history.
Yeah, for sure, guys. I knew this was gonna spark into a conversation, but it's good. It's good. It makes for really good shows, that we produce. We do have one more fight to talk about, and this one, it could be a doozy as well. We have the main event, which is for the lightweight title, Dustin Poirier versus Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. Sorry, I forgot to say Dustin the Diamond Poirier, but there you go. Okay, I will start first. Now, this one it gives me a hard time to think about who's going to win because I'm a huge Do Bronx fan. I think, a lot of people really, really underestimate his abilities, especially, I think they don't really realize how he's great on the ground, as well as his striking has gotten a lot better as well. So I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I'm going to say Do Bronx is going to take it, even though there's a part of me that thinks that Dustin might, just strike him to oblivion in this one. So, all right, Alec, who do you think is going to win this fight?
I have gone back and forth on this one, but in the past week or so, I have only picked one person, and it's been Do Bronx. And there's one simple reason. It's because Dustin Poirier thinks he's just going to walk in and they're going to hand him the belt. That's how he's acting. That's what the kind of things he's saying. Whether he means it or not, it doesn't matter. You're still saying it. And if you say something enough, you start to fucking believe it. And he's getting there. He's said it in every interview. He's talked about it like it's his belt. He thinks that he's just because he's been around and been in contention for so long, they're just going to go in and say, here you go, Mr. Poirier, here's your belt. Thanks for participating. Do Bronx it's a fucking monster, dude. I just went through it, including a grappling bout. He is on a 10-fight win streak. 10 fight win streak. That is insane. It's insane. And people want to say, well, he didn't fight anybody, even though he fought Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, Nick Lentz. Like, he clearly fought people. And he absolutely annihilated Tony Ferguson, who's not the same fighter that he once was. But then after a first round that looked really close, he fucking schooled Michael Chandler on his feet and landed the most beautiful left hook I've seen in UFC history. It was the cleanest. Hips weren't in. It was nice and tight. It came in and just landed right on the button, and he was done. Garbrandt is an absolute beast. He is an absolute beast. He has learned how to strike. I'm not going to call him an elite striker. He's not. If he stays on his feet and doesn't try to get in a clinch, doesn't try to get this fight to the ground, he is probably going to lose. But he's too smart. He's too smart not to. He just really is. And I think Dustin Poirier is literally coming in here thinking that they're just going to hand him the belt. I know Poirier's got ground game. I know he does. But this is the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist that we've seen in years, and quite literally years. He's an absolute monster on the ground. And he's proven time and time again that he can wrestle too. He's got top game on the ground. He really does. And with his improved striking, I just think he's other than I'm sorry, I'm looking at other than Islam, he's probably the most well-rounded fighter in the entire division. I think he's going to hold on to this fight until he hold on to this belt until he fights Islam, which could be very, 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 very soon. I think Garbrandt wins this. I don't know how. I think he probably wins it by decision. But Poirier is just coming in with this with a totally wrong mindset. Totally wrong.
Oh, for sure. All right, Dustin, what do you think about this lightweight belt bout?
I'm actually gonna ask that. Like, have I missed something? Did Dustin Poirier say that? I'm not really asking. Did he actually have any vernacular?
He's talking about his next fights already. The next guy he's gonna fight, he's not just talking about his next fight. He's talking about his first defense. Who's gonna fight for his first defense, and his next defense? And I want to fight Conor for a title defense. Like, dude, you gotta beat one of the toughest guys in division, if not the toughest guy in division, who's more well-rounded than you.
All right, that's all I needed to know, because I'm actually asking because I haven't seen any big shit talk from Dustin Poirier when it came to specifically Garbrandt. I haven't really seen any like, fuck that dude, he ain't shit, I'm gonna beat his ass. I haven't seen that. So that's the only thing I will say. Do I think Dustin Poirier thinks he's gonna walk in here and just beat up Charles? I think he's smarter than that. I mean, a little bit smarter. I don't think he's gonna walk in there and just whoop him. I don't think that's gonna happen. Dustin Poirier. Here's my thing about this fight. Charles needs to go offensive when it comes to wrestling. I mean, it can't be a jiu-jitsu guy, because Dustin Poirier ain't gonna take you down, dude. He's not gonna put you on your back, and so you're gonna have to be a wrestler, because he's gonna stand. And unless you knock him down and get some type of mount or get some type of really good ground position, take his back, unless you rub him against the fence, which I don't know, because I think Dustin's a little bit bigger of a dude, and he has great cardio. If it stays fighting, Dustin Poirier is probably going to take advantage of it. I think if it stays standing, it's going to be a problem. I don't think Michael Chandler is as good as Dustin Poirier. I'll put it that way. I don't think he'd win. I don't think Michael Chandler would win against Poirier. Neither, I think, would Gaethje. So either way, Charles Garbrandt better get some offensive wrestling, because if he tries to stand 5 rounds, I think he's going to get hurt. I think he's probably going to get knocked out, in my complete opinion. He's a very good boxer. Dustin Poirier is a stupid good boxer. I mean, if he throws a good left hook, I don't think he's going to drop him like he dropped Michael Chandler. I don't think that's really going to happen. He took a straight left hand clean from Conor McGregor and literally shook it off. And that's pretty hard to do. I don't know. You could ask a lot of people. Ask Aldo, ask a lot of people. Very hard to withstand that shit. So we'll see. I think if it stays on the feet, Dustin Poirier kills him. I think it's going to be bad. If he gets some offensive wrestling and figures out how to get him on the ground, yeah, I think he'll probably end up submitting him or dominating him on the ground. But I don't think Dustin Poirier is going to lose on feet. That's not going to happen. He's not going to take Charles down. Promise. He ain't shoot. So therefore, it's going to be a kickboxing match until Charles shoots for a takedown or gets a clinch. That's my opinion.
So you're like technically like half and half, you depending on what happens. You know, it's situational wise. Yeah.
It depends how Charles acts.
I just want to say this too about this fight that no one's mentioned this, and I don't know why. Dustin Poirier he's a big dude, like physically wise. He's thick, as one would say in that division. Like 155, he's thick. Charles Olivier has a 3-inch reach advantage. Charles Olivier is going to do his best to keep him on the outside. Dustin Poirier, in a rare fight, has to get on the inside. He has to get on the inside. And what Garbrandt is really, really good at, even before he got better striking with his hands, he will land leg kicks on top of leg kicks on top of leg kicks. And he will just keep throwing them. And he will. That's my biggest thing in this fight. Forget how Poirier's acting. Forget that. Garbrandt does not let people on the inside of him. He never has, and I don't think he ever will. Getting inside on Garbrandt is incredibly difficult because of how long he is. It's what makes him so good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And now that we saw his wrestling against Tony Ferguson, and we saw that he can actually strike. I think unless he tries to fight and Dustin's fight and tries to stand up with him, I think Dustin's in for a very long night on the ground. I think he's in.
So Dustin Poirier is just as good. How do you think he beat Conor? Dude, he kicked the fuck out of Conor like both times. Like. He's very.
No, I know, but again, that reach advantage is a big difference. It's a big difference, and it's what Garbrandt is strong at keeping people outside. He's really good at it. Always has been. It's got, even with when he was subpar striking, he was good at keeping you outside, with hitting you with things that kept you outside and at length, so that he could shoot those takedowns, so that he could get in the clinch game against the cage. That's what he does. That's what he's always been good at. Now he's got hands. Oh, fucking forget about it. Now, if he tries to stand up with him for 5 rounds, or even for 3 rounds, if he tries to stand up with Dustin and just exchange with Dustin Poirier for 3 rounds, he's going to get fucking hurt. He's going to get hurt. But he's too smart. I don't think he will.
I'll tell you this about, if Michael Chandler can get in there, Dustin Poirier is getting in there. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm sorry to say it, but if Michael Chandler can get in there and get him compromised.
Don't discredit Michael Chandler's explosiveness, though. He's not a better striker than Dustin, but he is one of the most explosive guys I've seen in the UFC.
Yeah. But
Poirier's not. He's not explosive like that. He's a set-up strike kind of guy.
We'll see. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Me too.
I'm looking forward.
Me too. It's going to be a great fight, no matter what.
It's going to be an awesome fight, guys. And then I believe next week we have our last fight night before the holidays. I believe it's UFC Vegas 45. I think it's Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Bilal Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's December. Oh, is there one more before that, or? No,
I think that fight got cut. I think it's Derek Lewis. Yeah, it's Derek Lewis versus Daukaus now.
Oh, that's too bad. I was looking forward to that fight.
Philly Bulls. I got my Philly guy fighting. He's headlining.
Wonder Boy should be fighting for the title. Fuck all that bullshit with Muhammad.
Yeah.
That's a different topic for a different day, Dustin.
Yeah. All right, so we got Lewis versus Daukaus, I believe, next week. So that should be a fun fight. And we will see you guys next week. Happy Fight Week, everybody. Bye.